Hi there, Chris from TotallyEV, and here we're joined with Sarah Price. She's a professional racing driver and the first confirmed driver for Extreme E. Sarah, thank you very much for joining us on this interview. I know you've got a very busy schedule, so appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm glad to, be able to talk more about everything going on and, get this racing starting again.
So you have a very busy schedule, and so appreciate that. So I'd like to know a little bit more about what you do, be it on or off the track. Could you tell us a little bit more about who you are?
Yeah, so I'm a professional off-road racer. I started off in motocross when I was 8 years old. And then I transferred into four wheels later on. I had a heck of a career in motorcycles and in motocross. So I was an X Games medalist and was the first factory supported female on Monster Energy Kawasaki. And then the driving kind of happened, and it just one thing led to another, and I kept climbing and climbing. And now I'm racing Extreme E with Chip Ganassi. Very excited about that. And I'm also, aside from them, racing trophy trucks and Polaris Razor side by sides. It's a very busy schedule. Not to mention, I also am a stunt woman, so doing stunts for driving and riding in a lot of big hits you see today, or car commercials you see all over the world. So that, and I have an auto paint business, so it's a little crazy around here. But we love being busy. We love getting to do cool things.
That's amazing. And so tell us a little bit more about your racing career. How's that transition? Because if anyone Googles you there's so many different motorsports that you've taken part in. Let us know how that's transition has gone by, and then obviously I'll ask you what's your favorite one, but that's you might be a bit biased on that one. But yeah, anyway, so
Yeah, it's been a crazy, like my biggest thing is adapting. So I get thrown in these opportunities and I just adapt and I try to figure them out as fast as I can. So I take all the opportunity. I'm a born racer. Whatever it is I'm doing, as long as I'm racing, I'm happy. It's kind of one of those things I just need in my life. And so if it's two wheels, four wheels, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, off-road, on-road. I haven't done too much on-road, but I have done on-road. And then, yeah, the trophy trucks are pretty cool though, and I'm guessing the Extreme E SUV is going to be very similar to that. It's going to be a mix in between the UTVs I usually race as well as the truck. So it's going to be a great kind of, I guess, foundation I would have as a driver. But the electric is going to be new to me.
absolutely. So in terms of the electric, so I was going to actually touch upon that in terms of the Odyssey 21. How do you think that's going to compare to the current flock of basically trucks, cars, bikes that you're racing? How do you feel that's going to compare, be it from the instant torque or let's say how the traction is going to be on the off-road circuits?
Um, it's going to be different, but I don't think it's going to be that different. I think it's going to be very close to a CVT driven car that I drive all the time, the Polaris Razor. So I think it's going to be very similar to that. I think also to the fact that I can adapt very easily and fast to new disciplines is going to be a great strength of mine. And then not only is the electric platform going to be something new to most of us, it's going to be something I'm already used to, is like the body roll the car I'm guessing is going to have, and just the way the car is controlled. That's going to be something I think, I have a good strength in, as well as my teammate Kyle. So we're going to, I think, do really well with the foundation we have.
Absolutely, and it's quite an interesting partnership you guys have got over there. So I presume I guess you're looking forward to that partnership. I think so. Future teammates, shall we say, or at least for Chip Ganassi Racing. How did that partnership? Well, first of all, how did that partnership form, and how did your relationship form with Chip Ganassi Racing? Did they approach you? You approached them? How did that work out?
Yeah, I was actually approached by Chip Ganassi. I was approached by some other teams as well. But Chip Ganassi, it's, in America, nothing's quite as elite as they are, So when I got wind that, they were interested, I really was drawn to them. And I did some speaking around to some people that are very close to me. and it was a no-brainer. It was kind of like, okay, I found my home. I'm very excited about it and excited to be a part of such an elite program and team and kind of see how they work. Not to mention, legendary team.
Absolutely, it seems like they've got a massive presence, at least in the US, in terms of the US motorsports. IndyCar, for example, for one of the many motorsports that they're taking part of. So it's pretty interesting to see them also transitioning into if you think of the traditional US type of racing cars, kind of raw gasoline variant car to fully electric off-roader, it's a crazy kind of shift as well from Chip Ganassi, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be something new for them. It's going to be something new for a lot of people, and it's going to draw a lot of attention. This is going to be big.
And so, in respect of Extreme E, you were the first driver that was confirmed for the lineup. How does that? Well, first of all, how did it feel at the time? But then, how does it feel knowing that you're actually one of the confirmed drivers out of the many pool of drivers that have actually registered their interest, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand that. I didn't know that those drivers weren't confirmed. So when I was actually signed, I didn't know that until like a day before or 2 days before the release came out. And I was like, wait, what? I'm the first driver? Like, I had no clue. So that was really cool. It got a lot of attention. And I think that's really awesome that it was a female too. It kind of, gets a little bit more attention, I think, 'cause it's different. It's not normal for a female to be in such a dominated male sport to begin with. There's very few of us. So it's awesome that the series is highlighting that. And, we can kind of, I think everyone was kind of surprised because they chose, an off-road girl, and they're choosing a off-road short course guy too to be my teammate, Kyle LeDuc, and he's legendary himself. So it's quite the team. And I think it's kind of throwing everyone for a curveball right now.
Well, it's exactly what you'd want to see, right? You'd want to see a company like Chip Ganassi Racing going after off-road series, but furthermore highlighting to the fact that the first confirmed driver of Extreme E was actually a female driver, which is obviously you. So that's actually really nice to see, and it's quite refreshing, at least in my point of view, to see that. And obviously the whole Extreme E setup is quite unique in itself, is one female and one male driver. So in terms of like, let's say, yourself in motorsport, how has it been when it comes to getting through the ranks of motorsport? As you said, it's a bit of a male dominated. That's kind of an understatement. It's so much male dominated motorsport, and yet there's so many great female drivers like yourself. How has it been getting through the ranks to get where you are now?
It's been I'm a hard worker. So if I have a goal, I put my head down and I call it the switch gets flipped. So it's kind of funny. It's the only way I can describe it. But when I set my sights on something and I have a goal, I just, the moment that I'm dedicated to that goal and I want to achieve it, this switch flips in me. It's just like complete crazy laser focus, and I'm gonna have blinders on. I don't see anything else but achieving that goal. And it could be bad and good for the personal life, sometimes not the best, but for the other parts of the life, it's like, okay, I excel in everything I put my mind to. And that's the same thing when I get these opportunities. Most of the time I'm getting opportunities where I'm driving, $1 million vehicle, and I don't get the seat time I would like in it before I get to race it. Most of the time I don't get any seat time. I just get thrown into a race, and it's kind of like, okay, cool. Like, be a professional, do the best you possibly can. And, that's what I have to do. So it's been cool to have such a array of disciplines I've been involved in, from not only, motocross taught me so much. I think having that as a base as a motorsport athlete is absolutely keen for my success. And so, I got to train very hard in that, because that's not something you can just hop in and be ready for, because you physically have to be able to handle a motorcycle. And the cars, it's more or less about setup, skill level, patience, and all those things. It's not as physical. It's still very physical, but it's taught me lines, weight of a vehicle, so much about just, engine control, using your throttle to control things. And that's what you have to use in a car. So transferring it over, it's been pretty awesome, getting to be from the dirt bikes to side by sides to street car to off-road trucks to whatever else I've raced. It's just pretty cool, and I can't wait to apply it to this new vehicle.
And so, as a racing driver, but then also a businesswoman that you are, then how is this going to work when it comes to traveling around the world on the St. Helena? So how does that process work? And yeah, how's it going to be for you? Is someone going to be running the shop for you back home, or?
Yeah, so I own an auto paint business called SP Enterprises. It's a touch-up business that is all over the U.S. We have 12 people that are involved in the extreme sports world in some sort of way or another, or racing world. We have NASCAR commentators, we have NASCAR racers, we have professional motocross women athletes, and the list goes on. It's pretty awesome, but I've created the business to be mobile. So the reason why I started it was, okay, I want to pursue my dreams to go racing. Well, how am I going to make that money? Because in off-road racing, it's not like NASCAR or any sort of, asphalt racing where it's a lot more money. Off-road racing is more of a passion-driven sport. So I was like, okay, how am I going to pay my bills during the week to be able to go racing on the weekends? So I created this business and worked 2 days, had bills paid. Cool. Now I can just race, and focus on that and live my dream. And I had many other friends that kind of came on board, and they're doing the same thing. And so it's built to be mobile. I can do it on the go. It's very easy for the most part. And honestly, it runs itself too, unless I'm trying to build it. When I have more people come on board, I have to train them. But other than that, with the stunt work, it's kind of, well, if I'm free, I can take the job. If I'm not free, I can't take the job. So, obviously racing Extreme E is going to be my first priority for 2021. And then hopefully for years to come. So.
Absolutely, that's great. And what advice would you give to aspiring female drivers or even aspiring female businesswomen, specifically in motorsport? What would be your top tip, for example?
I would say your top tip is, I get this question all the time, like, how do you get into it, And honestly, there is no magic, thing that happens where it's like, cool, you get all this stuff all of a sudden in one day. It's just get out there and do it. Like, if you can just start experiencing it, if you can start putting your mind towards it and learning about it and doing it, that is anything and everything you could ever ask for to get involved into something more heavily. Because you're going to have a foundation, a base to know kind of what's going on,
Absolutely.
So yeah, get out there and do it.
Brilliant. And so finally, I'll have to say, and you'll have to pick, which one is your favorite motorsport? Let's say excluding Extreme E, because I guess you haven't raced in that yet. Which one is your favorite vehicle to drive? I usually say car, but with someone like yourself, it's going to have to be vehicle.
Yeah, nothing compares to a trophy truck, honestly. To be able to go through a desert going 140 miles per hour and be able to hit, 5-foot whoops, that's pretty incredible in a truck. So not much compares to that. After that, I have to say the Polaris RZR, because you could go absolutely anywhere and everywhere with it. And then there's nothing that quite matches the freedom a motorcycle gives you. So, they all have their perks and are all different, but yeah, I can't wait for Extreme E though. I haven't yet driven the vehicle, and I'm really excited to get my seat in that and see how it feels.
That'll be brilliant. And I can't wait. Well, I'm sure we can't wait to see how that's gonna pan out. And I know for a fact that there is at the beginning stages, you can get the highest jump and gives you kind of like the fan boost element where you got extra power. So I think your skills are going to come in handy over there to try and get the highest jump, get the most power, and win the race. So.
Oh yeah, our meetings has been a good topic, because me and Kyle both are like, oh yeah, we got that one handled. But it's kind of I think it's measured in a really weird way though. I think it's a drop out of the suspension, so it might not even be like the biggest jump or whatever. It's just how the vehicle reacts to it. So you could actually set your car up maybe for that. I don't know. We'll see kind of what comes down to.
That'd be quite interesting to see if there's like different setups, but then you lose throughout the rest of the race, but you gain at the jump. So how does it work with strategies? I don't know. They might be quite interesting topics, but I guess we'll wait and see, and obviously from yourself as well. So that's brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much concludes the interview, Sarah. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
And yeah, and you're super busy, so obviously, in the links below for people to check out your business and obviously your social media links, if in case they want to give you a follow and keep up with your current racing events. Obviously, in 2021, we'll see what happens at Extreme E. So make sure to check that out. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us.